Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another summer crockpot video. I have 3 really great meal ideas and even 1 meatless meal idea that's super budget friendly. I know groceries are super expensive right now, and this is just one of the ways that I like to cut cost on my grocery bill, is doing 1 meatless meal every so often. But thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope you'll get some good ideas, and let's get on into it. Starting off, I have these crockpot chicken tacos, and these do not look like the most amazing food photography in the world, but I promise you they were so delicious. So I'm starting off by putting about 2 pounds of frozen chicken in my slow cooker. You can definitely use thawed chicken if you want, however, this is just easier for me. And you can use a can of Rotel, but I'm using a can of green chilies and a can of diced tomatoes. It's just what I had, but essentially it's the same thing as Rotel. And then after the tomatoes and green chilies, I'm going to add in the equivalent of 1 package of taco seasoning. You can definitely use the packet here. I just didn't have any, so I made my own version. And then I'm going to cook it on low for about 7 hours. About 4 or 5 hours in, I came in and kind of broke things up a little because this was just one huge frozen chunk of chicken. I wanted to make sure that the flavors were going to get throughout the whole chicken. It still wasn't cooked through at this point. I'm just breaking it up the best I can just to get those flavors melting around. Once everything is done, I just stirred it up, and I did let it cook. Well, I did let it sit on the heat for about 30 more minutes just to make sure that everything was coated and like all the flavors were really melted together. But once it was done, I just heated up some tortillas in a skillet just to get those more pliable so they didn't break. And I just kept it really simple with just the meat and cheese, but you could definitely add rice or beans. Some jalapenos would be really good, lettuce, tomatoes, salsa, however you want to make them. But these kind of reminded me of enchiladas, and that's kind of what I was going for, but I didn't want to make the whole like roll them up and put them in the oven type thing, so I just left them really simple with just the meat and cheese. Up next, we have this kind of like a Mississippi chicken, kind of not. I did use 1 ranch powder and then some chicken gravy instead of the brown gravy, and I left out the pepperoncinis because my husband does not enjoy those. But again, I'm just putting the frozen chicken in the slow cooker. You can definitely use thawed if that's what you like. And then I'm going to add in about a 1/4 cup of water just to give it a little bit of moisture to steam. And then, like I said, just adding in the ranch and chicken gravy. I'm also going to throw in a few handfuls of baby carrots. Now you can do any vegetables you like. Some potatoes would probably be good, onions, celery, whatever you like. I just kept it simple with the baby carrots. And I put it on low for 7 hours. After about 4.5 to 5 hours on low, I'm just going in and breaking up the chicken again because I did put it in frozen. And just kind of making sure everything is coated so it gets seasoned really nicely and has a lot of flavor. At this point, the sauce was like not looking as voluminous as I wanted. There just wasn't enough. So I did go in and add another packet of chicken gravy and about 3/4 of a cup of water because I didn't want it to be too runny, but I did want it to have some liquid. And this is the finished product. This was super delicious and flavorful. I just made some regular jasmine rice to go with it. And even my 5-year-old enjoyed this, and he is super picky, but my husband loved it. I actually thought we were going to have leftovers, and he ended up eating it all. So it was really good. We really enjoyed it. And finally, I'm going to be showing you how I made these ham beans, or they're pinto beans. Some people call them soup beans. They're super easy. You can soak these the night before, but I chose not to. So I'm just rinsing off my beans right here. And you want to pick out any weird looking beans or rocks or anything that may be in there that just doesn't look right. Sometimes there's a whole bunch of stuff and sometimes there's really not much. I just picked out a couple beans that didn't look the best to me, but you just want to make sure that you rinse them really, really well because there is dirt and stuff that can be in there. And then I'm putting them straight into my slow cooker. Like I said, you can soak them the night before and they won't have to cook as long. But if you don't soak them, then just make sure you add extra water because they will absorb a lot of the water because they are dry. And then I'm just going to add in the ham flavor that came with them and a little bit of beef bouillon. Now, these, like everything else I make, can be completely customized. You can add actual ham if you want to. You can add onions. You can leave out the ham flavor. You can add sausage. I mean, just whatever you like, whatever tastes good to you, that's what you can add in. But I'm just going to put these on low and let them cook for about 8 hours. But about halfway through, I did start going in and stirring them just to make sure they didn't need more water, to make sure that everything was cooking good. This is optional. I mean, if you're gone all day, you definitely don't have to do that. But I did just want to make sure that everything was absorbing the liquid. It didn't need any more liquid. But the 7 cups of water was actually perfect. I didn't add any more liquid. And I'm also going to be making these Jiffy corn muffins. Now, I'm going to be making them like cornbread. I know this is not cornbread. I do not need the cornbread police coming for me. This is just what my husband enjoys. I don't mind it either. I know this is not cornbread. Cornbread is not sweet, but I'm just following the package directions. And instead of making them into corn muffins, I am going to add them into my 8-inch cast iron skillet. I just have that in the oven right now with some olive oil heating up. So whenever I pour in my cornbread batter, it sizzles and gets a good crust on the bottom of it. And right here, I just wanted to show you what the edges looked like. And then moving on, I'm going to be making Brussels sprouts. I just want to show you a trick on how to shave your Brussels sprouts. I do my food processor, and then I just make sure that I have the slicing side, not the grating side of this tool. And then just cut off the ends and add them to your food processor, and then it does all the work for you. If they're too big, you may have to cut them in half, but this is just a super easy way to dice up your Brussels sprouts really small. Then once I got all my Brussels sprouts diced up, I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil to a skillet, throw in my Brussels sprouts, and then add a few tablespoons of butter. You can use cooking spray if you want to add to take away some calories. I just really like the way this turned out. I like the butter for flavor, and the olive oil gives them a nice little crust. And I'm going to season them with some Kinder's garlic and herb seasoning. This has a little bit of lemon flavor in it. It's so delicious. It's one of my favorite seasonings. But just put as much or as little as you want, and then stir them up and let them cook. And this is the cornbread straight out of the oven. Again, I know this is not real cornbread. It's Jiffy, but my husband and I enjoy it, and my son loves it too. And this is everything all together. I had those Brussels sprouts, some cornbread, and then we had some leftover corn on the cob that I just warmed up. And this was super delicious, and this is really budget friendly. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you got some good meal ideas, and I'm so thankful that you're here. Bye.